Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about the news that the Washington football team has called the Raiders with interest in quarterback Derek Carr, and also called the Jets with interest in Sam Darnold. So we'll talk about that and what it would take to get either one of these quarterbacks and how likely it is that it happens. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so first we'll look through both reports, and then after that we'll talk about the compensation and a bunch of other things. So Albert Breer reported this a couple days ago, and he said Washington has called the Raiders with interest in quarterback Derek Carr, but the Raiders haven't made him available yet, so we'll see how that develops. And then also Adam Schefter reported that Washington, Carolina, and the Colts talked to the Jets about Sam Darnold. And this just shows you, I'm not surprised with either one of these statements and either one of these reports, but it just shows you how aggressive they are going to be in trying to get their quarterback. They probably have a few guys they really like, and they want to get a guy in here. And I think if someone like Dak Prescott were to come available, I think they would pay the maximum amount to try to get him, because he would probably be the best available option out there. Because let's face it, Deshaun Watson probably not going to get traded, or at least right now, and if he does get traded, we probably don't have the compensation to get him. But if you look at Derek Carr, it would be a really good upgrade here in DC in 2020. Obviously, you guys all know 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, 67% completion percentage. He was a solid quarterback, above average quarterback. And the big question is, how much is it going to take to get him? Because there was rumors earlier, and again, just rumors, but that it would take 2 first-round picks. I don't think a single team is giving up 2 first-round picks, and I definitely think that if the Raiders were offered 2 first-round picks, then they would do that. So maybe that's the only way they would do it, or if somehow they were able to get Deshaun Watson. So it's not very likely they do move on from Derek Carr, but if they really, really like a quarterback this year, after they evaluate them, maybe they want a first round pick, and they'll use their first round pick from this year and trade it up to get one of these guys. Who knows? It's probably a long shot for Derek Carr to be made available, but it definitely still possible. But one of the two, Marcus Mariota and Derek Carr, one of those two are probably going to be available this offseason, because Derek Carr has about a $20-ish million cap hit around there, and Marcus Mariota has about a $10+ million cap hit, and obviously the cap's going down a bit, so it's going to be very hard for them to, bring both of those guys back. So personally, I don't know how much I would give up for Derek Carr. I guess I would probably give up a first. I'm just not a huge Derek Carr fan. He is a significant upgrade, but I don't know if he can really take you to that next level. We'll see though. And then Sam Darnold, this is just a tough one, because I am a, believer that if you have a guy you really like, and if you really like this guy, so let's say Sam Darnold, or a guy in this year's draft, then you should go out and get him. And this applies, I guess, to Sam Darnold. I'm not a Sam Darnold fan at all, but if Washington really does like him, I would trust them and trust their evaluation skills, because, of course, he's been in a terrible situation in New York, has not produced, though. The special players, they're able to produce, no matter the circumstances. 2019, 19 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, which isn't terrible, not great, though. And then 2020, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Not a good year at all. Obviously, doesn't have great weapons. Crowder was his best weapon. But, and also the coaching is terrible. But still, you want to see these guys, especially Sam Darnold, do better than what he did. And, he was a 3rd overall pick a few years ago. The contract is going to start to get expensive, though. Let's say we trade for him this season. We would have him for pretty cheap this season, but the year after that, it would go to $25 million if we did, bring him back for the 5th-year option. So that's pretty expensive. And then after that, you would have to pay him long term. So if you really like him, then go ahead and do it. But it's very risky because you're going to give up some draft compensation. And also, who knows? Let's say he does okay this year. You're going to be put in a tough spot because you're going to have to decide if you're going to want to pay this guy $25 million. There was rumors earlier that Adam Schefter, he said it might take a first-round pick. There's no way I give up a first-round pick for Sam Darnold. Even a second-round pick is stretching it for me. I'd rather not even give up a third-round pick, but if they really do like him, I'm fine with them giving up a third-round pick, maybe a little bit more if they really like him. Again, I'm not a huge fan, but maybe they believe that they can turn it around. John, I read this on a video the other day, but John, this is what John Keim said, almost a week ago. He said, Washington's starting quarterback remains a mystery, but I talked to several in the NFL who said Sam Darnold was the one they'd pursue. A combination of costs in terms of compensation, age, and the Jets are in position to draft another and start over. I get him right now, one NFL assistant told me. As it stands, the Jets will likely keep him, but if they decide to go in a different direction, then it gets interesting. So, we'll see. I honestly don't think they're going to keep him just because they're in position to get a rookie quarterback at number 2 overall. And you're not only do you have a better option this year, probably a better option this year in the draft, you also are going to have that guy under control for 3 more years than you do with Sam Darnold at a much cheaper price. So I think the Jets, it's a win-win situation for them. They can get some compensation for Sam Darnold and use that pick to help their franchise quarterback of the future. But it's going to be very interesting, guys, what happens this offseason. I'm getting, the sense more and more that it's probably going to be Taylor Heinicke, Kyle Allen, and then maybe one solid veteran, someone like maybe Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Andy Dalton, which I really, really would not like. But someone, guys in that category, maybe Jameis Winston, if he becomes available, I think he would probably be the starter if he came here. Who knows, though? Some people like him, some people don't. But yeah, let me know out of these 2 guys who you would rather have. Like I said, looks like they're being very aggressive. They've called they called the Rams about Jared Goff. They called the Raiders about Derek Carr. Who knows if they called them about Marcus Mariota too. Called the Jets about Sam Darnold. Have called the Lions about Matthew Stafford. And who knows what other teams. I guarantee you they've called the Texans about Deshaun Watson. So they really want to improve this position. Obviously, maybe they can do it in free agency. I really hope Dak Prescott becomes available. I want him. Some people don't, but that's just me. I want Dak Prescott if he's available. Not likely, but would absolutely love him. And then the last option, if you don't do it in free agency or a trade, is trade up for a quarterback in the draft. But they're gonna have to give up significant compensation to do so. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video. And peace. Most likely we'll be live streaming tomorrow around 6:30.